for that. Gorge, what pleased you most about that win today?
How we won. I thought during the course of the year when we get our spirit broken easily, when teams go on a run, we kind of, and I thought tonight, 11 for 16 or whatever they were from the three-point line, they had control of the game, but we didn't let them go away from us. And then I thought in the fourth quarter where we went to win the game was the whole thing that we're trying to do with a new playing group, a new coaching staff, a new ownership. I call that culture. When they talk about building culture, to me it's standards and living by those standards. And tonight, holding them to 8 points, a team like that, a juggernaut with the importance of this tonight and the way they were rolling, I thought was a really good sign.
What about Jalen Adams and Xavier Goulds? Felt like on this, like you touched on a new look team, those guys really stood up today. It felt we saw the best version of those guys. Could you just talk to those two?
Well, I just think, you know, again, you look at the league right now, you look at Melbourne, Gouldy out. We've had, I've talked about it from day one, we've had Jalen. He's that influence in our group, and we haven't got him in yet. And I didn't know I was going to get that tonight, but it's starting. And the standards that I'm talking about is practice. And so last week leading into New Zealand, Cam and them both didn't practice. So I brought him off the bench. Tonight, last week, a pretty good week of practice. And when I talk about the schedule, a big part of that is we got to practice and we got to prepare. So if we would have played in Perth and come here tonight and not had any preparation for them and he hadn't got that week, we wouldn't have won tonight. So he's a hell of a player. We've been riding him the whole year, but those two have a synergy together that is when we're under pressure, where do you go? And at the end of the game, we played off those two, and he was great, and as you said, X was great.
Do you feel like that fourth quarter, is that the Sydney Kings that we've been hearing about all season, about this team that can challenge anyone and dominate games? Is that sort of what we saw in that fourth quarter, do you think?
I don't know where all of that came from, and I look at the league, I think it's I told you before, I think it's a setup. We're in a shit fight here to get in the six. And you look at that team, you look at Melbourne, you look at Phoenix, we're in that box with all of those fighting. And it's a new group. It's a group that, and again, I keep saying a new coaching staff. I haven't been disappointed through this process, and I've communicated with ownership how I'm going to go about this. And I'm not listening to hoorah or all that stuff. I'm not on that. And I'm not even thinking about winning. I'm thinking about how we go about our day to day, making sure we stick to the standards, and it's going to take us someplace. And I'm starting to see little pieces of it. So tonight there was a lot of trouble offensively, and we've been that all year. But we did have some good patches, and defensively we keep moving, and this is again without I'm not, everybody's missing players, but Bull has been a big part of the defensive aspect of this. So to bring Jalen in and take Bull out, you would think there's a big step backwards defensively as a group, and I didn't think that took place.
Gorge, when Kouat hit that three to really ice the result, I looked at you and you celebrated, I suppose, with more vigour than I've seen you celebrate a win this season. Does that suggest that you think this is the most significant win of your season so far, or performance, of your season so far?
Definitely. It's like you're contradicting. I'm saying I'm not thinking about the winning. What I was thinking about is them getting rewarded for what they did tonight. So to fight and do what they did in the fourth quarter, and then you're looking at the last 2.5 minutes and you're going, God, if we lose this, it's going to be really hard. Winning or playing well helps justify what we're doing on the day-to-day. And again, as we started in this, he's become a huge piece on this. And again, shots like that, when we were in New Zealand, we were in a hole and he pulled us out. our home win against Phoenix or whoever it was here, the same thing. He's a juggernaut off the bench, and he's improving in the areas that we talked about. From last year, he's always been a great offensive player, but I think he's really coming defensively.
And you go to 10-7, 4-2 at home. You go to New Zealand on Friday, then 6 of 7 are here. Have you set your season up? Have you set things up the way you want to, despite the bumps so far?
I kept telling them at the start of the year, you can't take these wins away, and we're winning on the road. So what I would say is our destiny's in our hands. But man, I had someone say to me in NBA, "Scout, your league's savage," and I thought it was a good. It's just you look at. I'm watching the Phoenix game when they're warming up in Melbourne, and you watch the games last night and you see what Bryce is doing in the league and, what's going on with Brisbane. This reminds me of the Cairns team when Mike Kelly was coaching up there and they had those imports going, and you're going right down the way and going, there's no one here, and everybody's getting punched in the face. So I like where we're at. I like we're in it, and we're in that group throwing punches.
Gorge just talked about, the talk around the team being this juggernaut right from the start when you kind of debunked it, basically, because there's so many new players. But do you feel like over the last maybe month or so, the team is really starting together, as a playing group?
Yeah, 100%. There's a big difference with us now and the start of the season.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the fourth quarter, the second half, when a team goes on a run, we put our head down and, basically give up. But, this part of the season, we're really showing a lot of guts. And especially that last 6 minutes in that fourth quarter, I don't know how many times in practice there was 6 minutes left on the clock to finish practice, and we just knocked it down and really pushed through. So it really showed tonight.
Yeah, a win like that, when you're down 9, they're hitting really tough contested threes, and yet you pull yourself out of it. I mean, how can that kind of set you guys up? Getting that experience and coming through, when you really needed to.
Yeah, basically just not giving up when the team goes on a run, Gorge said, today in our meeting that, they're going to hit some tough shots, but yeah, just keep pushing, keep being relentless. And, we didn't keep our head down in this game, and yeah, it was a really good defensive game.
And you individually, what does it mean to you to hear Brian say you're a juggernaut off the bench? I mean, there's an expectation and a lot of people kind of relying on you. How do you've accepted that role really well. I mean, what does that mean to you? That the team relies on you, particularly in that clutch situation coming off the bench.
Yeah, just doing the little things, off the court, on the court, staying disciplined, doing the things that you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. So, I'm always ready when my name is called, and, to have Gorge, trusting me and to go out there and help the team in any way I can, I'll be able to do that.
A long time ago, for you and me, you started 2 imports off the bench for pretty much an entire season. You know which one I'm talking about, Isaiah and Dante. You've done it now back-to-back games. Is that something you potentially could look to keep doing while the team's winning, or is it just working through rotations dependent on opponent?
It's not going to be that. It's there's no way Jalen Adams is going to, Cam again tonight. Still, we're still dealing with process. But I thought he had a good week, and I thought he had 2 good games and was on the upcome.
Yeah.
But our backcourt, Jalen is the piece.
Yeah.
But it's the last thing. When Jalen plays, we're different. When Jalen's not in the game and we have Bruce and Zay, there's less ball screen, more cutting, more ball movement. And we started that game that way against New Zealand. We practiced that way without him. And I don't want that to go away. So I thought I'm just going to start the game that first 5 minutes and get people touching the ball, then bring them into it.
Yeah.
Then I couldn't get them off the floor.
Yeah.
It was like like I said, there's a minute and a half to go in the third. Give him a rest. I go, I'll use a timeout. We're 9 down. I can't. You sit him for. It might go to 16 and it's over.
Yeah.
It was that kind of game, and he was that important.
Yeah. You mentioned Brucey. I mean, the stats don't show up, but you just talk to his game and just some of the plays that he made, particularly in that fourth quarter.
at the end of the third,
Yeah.
do you go with A, B, or C? And no one said to me, and I thought to myself, I'm going with Bruce. This ain't happening. We're not running anything. Get J.A. off the ball and have him run this thing. And we were concerned just physically if he could guard one of those imports. And my goodness, I tapped him afterwards. He changed the game. Jalen was like that. He does what he did, but bringing him in and getting Jalen off the ball. He ran good stuff. He got the ball to the right people. He made the big shot. He defended their guy that was going. He was instrumental.
Yep.
Just on the fourth quarter, you had Xavier, Jalen, Sean, and Kouat play the whole 10 minutes. Was that just because they were rolling so well, or is that going to be the?
I've done that probably 3 or 4 times this year in it. I thought I was struggling to find something tonight. Tried this one, and it was this. And then I found 5 and I go, I'm not, and I had 3 timeouts in my sleeve. So, and my personality, when a game goes like that, and I've told them that, you're going to get your opportunities to come in and out, but if it ain't great, I'm going to find 5 and I'll use my timeouts and I'll grind it out. And that's where we went tonight.
And just someone like Kelly, during the year when you had a few doubles, saw a few did not plays and limited minutes, but you started that fourth quarter run with nice 3 in the corner. Does it really sort of rejuvenate him, just giving him a few minutes and then?
And it's a really good point you make. I've been playing around with the lineups for a while, and when we were struggling with certain guys, I started thinking, let's go small. Let's put Tui in the 4, and let's put X in the 5 and play small ball. And what happened was, and I was trying to get Cam going, and we went to Melbourne and he didn't play. And his people were going there for the first time to see him play. I didn't play him 1 minute. And he hadn't done anything wrong. It was just, we decided to change and switch everything. And about 2 weeks into it, that what we were doing there, the season's like this, and we made a conscious decision, no more small ball. This kid can't sit on the bench the whole time, cannot do that. So the point you make, he's now an important piece of the rotation. He's back in that starting spot, and we're staying away from small ball.
Kouat, a thing or two about the 3 ball. Talk to us about Kelly's 3 ball, because he doesn't strike physically as a bloke who's going to deliver it in that regard a lot.
Hey, Kelly's a shooter. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, he can knock down shots. He's a really good shooter. He knocks them down in practices, and he knocks them down in games as well. So, yeah, you got to respect him.
A lot of fun at training.
It is.
He's not a bad deadlifter either, or squatter or bencher.
Hey, Goorjian's not a bad deadlifter too.
Thank you.
Thank you, boys.
Good on you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.